Welcome to Only Murders in My Mind. Hello, it's Thursday, it's 5 p.m. and it's another episode of Only Murders in My Mind with Mike Jackson.
Hi Carol, hi Liz.
And Liz Hedgecock.
Hello.
When shall we three meet again as a trio of writers to discuss things all to do with writing, hopefully. And today especially, I think, yes, our topic is how to be a successful crime writer or just a successful writer. And Liz said just before we started recording, it's a really good point. You have to define what success is for anybody, for yourself. It's different for different people.
It is.
I suppose it's certainly, how do you define a successful crime writer? Because it's very easy for us to pick out names like Conan Doyle and Agatha Christie who've made it. But there are lots of successful writers who self-published who are not necessarily household names.
No.
But still successful.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take Liz. Liz falls into that category.
Don't choke on your tea.
No, but she does. She
I
falls
timed that drink of tea all wrong.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody.
She fits into that category of being a successful writer.
She does.
Without necessarily being a household name.
I am blushing here, listeners.
Yeah.
But, I suppose it's, how do you define success? I mean, we're talking book sales. Are we talking, reviews? Are we talking the number of people who've read your books?
Yeah, I mean, success for me was just publishing a book. My very first book. When I'd done that, I thought, I can tick that off my bucket list. I've always wanted to publish a book. Never thought I would, and I have now. And really didn't think I'd write another one, to be honest with you, at the time.
And how many is it now?
We're going into... I've got 9 out, so the next one will be the 10th in about 6 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So that it's one of those things. Once you get the bug and you've published a book, you want to write another one.
Yeah.
It's like anything else, though, isn't it? I mean, if you're going to self-publish a book, anybody, or publish, doesn't necessarily self-publish, then my thinking has always been that you want an audience. You want somebody to read your book. And the only way to measure that sort of sex. Sorry, can we cut that bit out, John?
Leave it in.
Way to measure that sort
There's
of...
an ingredient for being a successful crime writer. Make sure there's plenty of that.
Sex in it. And the only way to measure that sort of success is by how many books you sell.
Yeah.
Basically. Otherwise, you don't know if anybody's reading it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't sell thousands of books. I sell hundreds of books. But I am... I'm amazed every time somebody buys one of my books, especially if they get back to me and say they enjoyed reading it. And I get delight out of that, when somebody gets in touch with me via email or a text, or I get quite a few actual letters, usually people that I know, because I don't give me address out to just anybody. And yeah, I've got one lady who she doesn't really... She's not IT. She doesn't like IT at all. And she writes to me when she's read one of my books and tells me she's enjoyed it, which is lovely. So that's Marjorie. If you're listening, Marjorie, thank you for the letters.
But when you think, Carol, after you published your first book, if nobody had read it and you'd had no feedback, you probably wouldn't have been inclined to write and self-publish a second book.
No.
You need that feedback to make you think, oh, this is worthwhile. It's worth doing. There are people out there who enjoy
knowing that people want more of what you're doing. Yes.
Yeah, I can never understand. You're quite right, Mike. I mean, my success was publishing, and then of course I sold, a few hundred, and it was like, oh, this is good. I can't understand people who actually say, do they mean it when they go, I'm not bothered if I don't sell any, I just want to publish one. And I'm going, why?
Yeah. Or people who say, oh, I don't even care about publishing it. No. The joy is in the writing, and I wouldn't care if no one ever read it. And I think, why? What's the point?
Well, I mean, I used to say that as a teacher, that when you got a class of children to write a story for you, they had to have some reason for writing it. And quite often the reason was getting some sort of feedback, either through me saying, I really like that story. But what they love more than that was seeing their story going up on the wall or going into a magazine or something like that.
Yeah.
So there is that writing for an audience. I think we're all storytellers, you see.
Yes.
And as a storyteller, you need an audience to listen to, or in our case, read our stories.
I mean, I have, like both of you, I've done talks with various groups over the years, and I've had one or two people, even people that have come to writers' groups, who've gone, I'd like to write my memoirs for my family, just for my children and my grandchildren and maybe their children. And I can see that because there are things I would like to ask my mum now that I can't. Things about my past. Whether she'd have actually put them in, the things I wanted to know in a book is another thing. But you're still doing it so somebody can read it.
Yes.
Aren't you?
Yes. You have that audience. And I think what happens with the successful crime writers or successful writers, they have always got that audience in their mind. So whatever they're writing it because they enjoy doing it, but they write it because they know what their readers do. I mean, we've talked in the past how, was it Agatha Christie wanted to kill Poirot off?
Yes.
And the publishers wouldn't let her because there was such a clamour for more Poirot books from her readers. So she was being dictated to a certain extent, by what the readers wanted.
And Conan Doyle
was the same.
He wanted to kill off Sherlock, and he had to resurrect him from the dead.
So he wanted to do the historical novels that he felt were going to make his name, and of course, I mean, everyone's heard of them, but
but they're not.
They're not the first thing you think of, are they?
No.
You think of Conan Doyle. So the three of us all write crime in one form or another. Mike, with your short stories, are usually dastardly doings.
Yes. I'm usually killing somebody off 9 times out of 10.
Oh, there's some sort
wife.
of criminal activity. I don't know what this says about you.
I think it just says I've got a very warped mind, and watch out for me if you ever meet me in a dark alley.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you got there first, frankly.
And Liz, some of yours are historical based, and some are cosy murder mysteries.
Yeah, some of them are darker than others. Some of them are contemporary. Some are historical.
Yeah, some are quite amusing along the way.
Well, one tries.
And mine tend to be. As pointed out by Liz a while ago, there are some little funny bits in my books just to lighten the dark bits. But if you think I'm croaking, I am. It's the high pollen count. You might hear a gentle humming in the background.
That's me singing.
It's our fan trying to keep us cool, because when we're recording this, we're going through a heat wave in this country for all our listeners in other countries in the world.
Yeah.
So,
and it's an electric fan. If anyone thinks we've actually got like a podcast person here with a big, palm leaf or something.
Yeah,
sending it gently back into.
Yes. So I Googled, I mean, it's strange because we, Liz and I took part in a Bodies in the Library a few weeks ago. And we were trying to give our audience hints on how to write a crime novel. I mean, I'm not saying everybody in the audience wanted to write a crime novel, but we hoped it was interesting from that perspective. If you did want to write a crime novel, this is how you go about it. And mine was how to kill people on paper. Liz, you did plot.
I was talking about plotting, yes, and saying there is no one right way.
Yeah, and Claire did.
She was talking about villains, wasn't she?
Yes, how to something a psycho.
Yeah, she was looking at all the psychological kind of things and using examples from literature and I think also TV and film.
Yeah.
So
I've got a quote here, and you're quite right, Mike. One of the top writers, and I can't remember. I can't remember who it was now. Said, as crime writers, we need to give the audience what they want, which is what you said before. Yeah. This is a quote here. To be a successful crime writer, you need a combination of strong writing skills, does help if you can write, a compelling plot, well-developed characters, and a deep understanding of the genre. Reading widely in crime fiction is crucial as it is developing a unique voice and perspective, which is one of the things I think 3 of us said at the Bodies in the Library. I said it. got to read. You know, hopefully because you'll enjoy it because you're reading something you like, but you've got to read and get.
I mean, I can't imagine writing in a genre that you don't like. I mean,
No.
You know, I mean, I get that some people do it for money. But...
Yeah. I mean, you know, they have a formula. They look to see where the gap is in the market. Mm-hmm. I read advice on this once, and I thought it was probably a YouTube channel. Somebody saying, you know, you can make money, find out where there's a gap in the market. This is presuming you're a fur writer anyway, and fill that gap, which means you'll probably be writing stuff that your heart's not in it.
Possibly, but then again, the
if
same.
If you read widely, I suppose, then it's it's probably easier. I mean, if you know, like some people will say, "Oh, I only ever read books about serial killers."
Yeah,
and you know, that's a fairly narrow interest, I would have thought. But you know, it's going to be harder for someone like that, I would have thought, to find a gap in any other market and fill it successfully because they're going to have to go off piste.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, I read all sorts. So.
You do, don't you? And I try to read not just murder mysteries. I've just started another Mark Billingham audiobook, and I am reading one from an author I've never heard of, but I'll have to look him up to tell you who it was. And it's called the Glasgow Subway Murders. And he hasn't written many books, I don't think, this guy, but I'm really enjoying it.
Cool.
Going back to the point you said about, you know, some writers who will write to a market, write to a gap in the market. Again, they're only going to be successful if they understand that market and understand how to plot, how to get the right characters, how to get the right setting. And as Liz said, they're only going to have done that or know that if they've done some reading around that. I mean, I could never write a romance.
Couldn't do them for Mills and Boon then?
Because I've never read any. Never read any. So I wouldn't know, you know, I'd probably start off by killing the main lover in the, you know.
Yeah, that very short book. Yeah, Mills and Boon
I'm imagining some kind of, you know, serial wife murderer finally finds love with, you know, the one.
Shortly. not long lasting.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, I think you're supposed to go for a different couple each time, Mike. So, I mean, you could always, you know, do an epilogue where it all goes wrong and then start afresh with the next one.
Yeah. I'm still not convinced that...
Murderville.
Stabby.
A romantic comedy series.
I'm still not convinced that romance writing is for me. Sorry.
I'd probably pay to read one that you'd written.
Harlequin, Mills and Boon. I don't know what name they come under these days, but...
Is it Harlequin?
It could be, yeah.
Silhouette.
Yes. I've tried to write for them many times, medical romance, and a few times I've got some nice feedback, but never got anywhere near.
It's a very popular
romance is
genre.
Huge.
But they always say in their outline and the information they give you, because they are one of the few publishers that will accept and get most of their writers from unsolicited manuscripts that don't come through an agent. So anybody's got a chance of being published with them if it's the right thing. But they say there is no formula. We want your unique voice.
As long as it conforms with our strict requirements.
Yes. There is a formula, you know.
But it's the same. I mean, on Amazon, you know, again, as Liz was saying, it's a really, really popular genre. The whole romance and sub-genres of romance.
Oh, yes. Well, the thing is, I've just been doing some research on that, and what can make it really difficult is you can think your book fits into a category, but if that category is currently swamped with a particular type of thing, then it's really hard to get noticed.
Yeah.
So you may find yourself putting your book in something that's, you know, a bit like that, but not quite there. And there's some like sub bits of, you know, the romance subgenres. And you look at the covers and you're like, oh, it's all man chests.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think my book fits here.
But isn't paranormal romance quite popular as well?
There's so many different genres now
within. Paranormal romance, I think, was the thing, but now it's romantasy.
What's that?
Thank you.
Romance and fantasy. Romantasy.
Oh, right.
So Fourth Wing, Iron, whatever it is, not Iron Claw. I know this, but I can't remember what it is. It's Rebecca Yarros anyway. All the Court of Thorns and Roses
All
Song of
right.
Ice and Fire,
All
that
right.
sort of
Okay,
malarkey,
yeah.
Thingy of Thingy and Doodah.
Yeah.
Because Paula
Game
and
of
I have called
Thrones.
ours A Tale of Tea and Dragons, partly as a sort of a nod and a wink too.
But one of the things they always recommend you do, and they're bound to do this, they say, read our books, read lots and lots of our books. Well, that's going to put the sales up straight away, isn't it? All these wannabe authors buying Mills and Boon's books so they can get the...
Do the library have them?
Yes, they do.
There you go.
They
Get
do.
some
yes.
from the library, and I'm
Yes.
pretty sure if you go to any used book emporium, then
Oh yeah, you will get.
probably
You'll
find
pick them
some
up.
there. So.
You will definitely. So the other thing that came up here was it's just expanding on what I've said. Read widely, immerse yourself in the crime fiction genre, analysing what works and what doesn't.
It also says in the list I've got, read the greats. So even if
Right.
it's not your genre,
Yeah.
read it because it'll give you kind of your bearings, I suppose.
Write regularly, which is one of Liz's mantras, because I've not done much writing this year. And I know if I took her advice and wrote for 10 minutes a day, even if it's rubbish, I'd get back into the flow again. Because
It wouldn't be rubbish.
it worked during COVID for me, that advice. So, I need to, but yes.
I mean, practically, it's like, I'm not saying you have to write every day. There's people like, you have to write every day, or you're not a real writer. It's like, people have lives.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. People have jobs. But, I mean, for me, it's like, if I leave it a few days because I'm doing things, then it's just a little bit harder to pick up the thread when I get back to it.
Yeah. Do you find that after a holiday?
Normally I try and kind of schedule books so that I don't break off in the middle of them.
Right.
So
I can
I
understand
suppose
that.
the big difference with Liz is that is your full-time job really now, isn't it?
more or less.
Writer come editor. So it's like any job. You need to put the hours in.
Oh, yeah.
On a daily basis.
Yeah, Liz works hard at what she does.
Yeah, but I think
It's very enjoyable.
yes.
Yeah.
But I think writing I've talked before about free writing, and I find that useful just to be doing some sort of writing every day, even though it's not. When I'm in the coffee shop and I'm writing. By the way, a shout out to my favourite coffee shop in Stockton Heath, which is the London Cafe.
Woo woo.
I only said that because hopefully one of the staff there is listening to our podcast. So if she is, hi. I've no idea what her name is. I must find out. And anyway, when I'm down there, 9 times out of 10, well, no, every time I'm down there, I have my notebook and I'm writing. But most of the time, I'm not writing any stories. I'm just writing thoughts, random thoughts that come to my head, some of which may lead me down the path to writing. But I think it's the fact that I'm writing every day just keeps that momentum going.
Well, I had a go at that the other day when I was watching Wimbledon, and this is what I came up with.
Was this your free writing?
This is free writing from...
I presume it wasn't a very good match.
I think I was waiting for the main event to come on. And can I find what I've written? Carry on, I'll have a look for it.
But, another piece of advice I've got in this list, which is from the National Centre for Writing. One of the things they say is, take a course in writing crime fiction. There's a surprise. Yeah. Well, it is a point you could do. Start with the crime, they say. So they say it will ignite your plot and drive the narrative. So, lots of books do open with, someone, clearly about to walk into a crime, or else, there's a body. So, certainly that will get things going.
Yeah. I read somewhere that many successful crime writers start from the end. They know who did it, sort of thing, and work backwards from there.
Interesting.
Which is an interesting thought.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, plotting is another thing. And I think it says here, plot before you begin.
Another thing I heard, which I thought was interesting, is that in terms of characters, while many successful crime writers have got their favourite characters, whether it's a Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot or whoever, Miss Marple, they were saying you've got to make the perpetrator equally as interesting and exciting. The reader doesn't have to like the person,
no,
but the perpetrator has to have some sort of personality, to be real.
Yeah,
to be an important part of the.
Well, if they're just this evil
Yeah. When you
being.
think Sherlock Holmes, Moriarty,
Yeah.
is everybody loves to hate him, but you'd love to meet him as well.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's the thing with him. He's barely there.
Barely there.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's like a
On him.
ghost,
Yes.
isn't he?
Yeah, and that means you can project anything onto him,
That's
which is
right.
probably one of the reasons why Sherlock Holmes is so popular.
Yeah.
Because
So
you can do what you like with Moriarty.
You get Moriarty's character from what Sherlock Holmes perceives him.
Well, I think he
as-
says, doesn't he, he's the Napoleon of crime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found me free writing.
Oh, go on then.
Right. So
Are you sitting comfortably?
the waves by the pond, the butterflies dance around centre court, a king to sit in a box. The chair lady has the last call. This is a bit of a racket. Strawberry and pims in the heat. Purple and green is frequently seen, and a Rolex large and bored. Almost done for another 12 months, and at my age, like, I can never say his name, Djokovic. Will this be my last Wimbledon?
Of course it won't.
No, I know. But it was just
That's really interesting.
Just came.
Get
Just,
it,
just
yeah.
came. Yeah.
just came to me. Just sat there jotting down
Yeah.
things because I did see. I said to David, my husband, all the fans look like butterflies because there were so many people with hand fans,
Yes.
you know, and you just look like all these little butterflies flitting around, and that was the first thing that came into my head. So thank you for that, Mike, because I found it really interesting. But it was on what you'd said about free writing. That's
Will
why
you do
I did
more of it?
I think I will have another go actually. Yeah. Yeah, because you could get something out of that then, couldn't you?
Of course you could, yes, yeah. Or even if you don't get something out of that, there may be some. You might do some more free writing in a few days' time, and you'll suddenly think, oh, actually, that fits in with what I wrote the other day,
time.
you know, and things just start to gel together, and it's all coming from the subconscious.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
You're never quite sure where it comes from or why.
No, there was hardly any thought in it.
Yeah.
I was just
And sometimes I find, you know, I rarely go back and read anything I've written down. Sometimes I do, but not very often. And sometimes you think to yourself, well, I've been writing for 20 minutes and it's a load of rubbish. But then I just think to myself, well, maybe that's all was in my mind at the time, a load of rubbish.
But the thing is, it's partly sort of getting all that stuff out your
It
head,
is,
isn't
yes.
it, and onto the paper.
Onto
So it's kind of done its job.
Yeah.
yeah.
You
No,
don't
it was
then need to
interesting.
read it and try and psychoanalyze it or
Yeah.
whatever. Do
Yeah.
you?
So I've also got master the fundamentals, focus on a crafting compelling plot, creating memorable characters, and writing realistic dialogue.
No pressure then.
No.
No.
The other thing I when I was looking at this too, I was reading that there are a number of the successful crime writers who have who know what they're writing about because in a way they came from that sort of background. Michael Connolly, for example, who writes a lot about detectives.
Wasn't he a reporter?
He was a reporter
Yeah.
for the Los
Yeah.
Angeles Times.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so he
And that's
investigated
great.
lots
'Cause
of-
it's like, well, you've done your research beforehand, haven't you?
Yeah.
You know how it all works.
Yeah.
I think we should do an episode on crime writers that come from those sort of backgrounds.
different professions.
Maybe in a few weeks.
Yeah, good idea.
Good idea, that. And again, we've talked about this before, but Agatha Christie had that pharmaceutical background.
Yes.
So
Yes.
she had a knowledge of poisons. And,
Yeah, and
what have
being
you.
such a clever woman with such an inquisitive mind,
Mm.
she will have taken all that in, won't she? And
Oh, yeah.
stored it up there in the little grey cells
Oh, yes.
for future reference.
But yeah, I mean, doing your research, and I mean, that's a great form of doing it if you've
Yeah.
actually worked in the field, isn't it? But I mean, you're going to have to do it at some point, aren't you?
yes,
You know,
Yeah.
or if it's not do your research because you've set it in some sort of way that it's, you know, normal police procedures don't apply, then you're going to have to have built a convincing world. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to have done your prep in another way.
I also read two conflicting opinions about police procedures,
Oh, yeah.
both from successful crime writers. One was saying it should be accurate and people will pick up on it if it's not. And another one saying it doesn't have to be on point. You can be a little bit vague with these things.
Well, I think we've said this before, haven't we? I mean, I can think of some books I've read where that sort of forensic science part of it actually bored me to tears.
Yeah.
That actually put me off the book
Too
because
much.
obviously the person had done their research and was going to put it all in the book come whatever. You know, because they'd done the research, you were going to get it, and I didn't need that level of knowledge to help me with the storyline.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you've got to be thinking all the time.
Got to be careful.
How does this help going back to what we said earlier about your audience, how does this help my reader enjoy this story? You know, how much can I put in? How much do I leave out?
Yes.
You need the information that's hopefully going to point them in the direction of the murderer.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a good rule of thumb is you never need as much as you think you do.
No, that's true.
Because the thing is, readers are smart.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell them the whole thing.
No. The sort of, you can picture things, can't you,
Yeah.
from a good reader. I mean, crafting a gripping plot, and they've got here, start with the crime, begin with a compelling crime that serves as a catalyst for the story, build the tension, incorporate twists and turns, focus on authenticity, and develop a complex structure. I don't know about that. Consider a layered story with slow-burning investigation or a series of connected events.
And that's a strange, well, it's not a strange one. That makes sense. But I was reading somewhere the other day that the length of books is getting shorter because people's attention spans are such that they don't want the long 100,000 word novels anymore. They want much shorter books. This is why the novellas do so well.
Yeah, I know someone who, like, literally she only does novellas and she's doing fine. So.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on genre, because, I mean, if you have people who read epic fantasy, then probably if it's under 120,000, you know, they probably go, oh, that's a short story. That's not a novel.
But it also shows that if you're writing a novella, then the complexity of the crime, the story, has got to be shortened, hasn't it? It's got to be not necessarily less complex, but certainly less wordy.
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, you're going to need your characters to be just as compelling.
Yes.
And your plot to be just as good and satisfying, but not necessarily, you know, have as many layers as many characters. Otherwise, it's going to feel like you've got a pint and a half pint pot.
Yeah.
That's a technical term.
But I remember, you know, when I first started writing short stories, I read somewhere that the art of writing the short story is giving the reader the opportunity to fill in the spaces.
Yes.
To fill in the missing bits.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard people say start in the middle.
Yes, start in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. With a short story.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got that room necessarily to have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. If you're only writing 200 words. So that idea of starting in the middle, and if you make it compelling enough, then the beginning, the people can fill in themselves. They don't need that information because in their own head they can.
Or you can sort of do a little bit of, you know, flashbacking as you go along.
Or hinting at.
I have done exercises in the past, and this is why I think you're so skilled, Mike. And it's been write a story in 100, 200, 300. And once you start, it's very difficult to keep it down to that. Or, you know, it falls off a cliff at the end because you've got to finish.
Yeah.
Somebody shot him and he died.
Fiction, it takes a good few goes to get it down to. If you've got a limit, you know, I mean, you could easily have 500 words and then you find yourself, right, okay, how can I get this to 200?
Yeah.
You know, you start like frit, delete, blue pencil, you know, there goes that character.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Well, that used to be one of the things I haven't written any for a while now, but I used to enjoy writing drabbles.
Yes.
Which have to be, to truly be a drabble, it has to be exactly 100 words. And the difficulty was when you thought you got it down to just about right, you had 103 words. And
then you get it just the way you want. You find out it's got 99 now.
99 is not so bad because you can always add an extra word easily. But 103 down is much, much more, because you look at it and think, well, what else can I take away? And you're then down to the really nitpicking as to, you know, which of these words can I take away that won't destroy the story in any way.
Yes. But no, something that's this list of 25 tips I've got from the National Centre for Writing. One of the things they really emphasise with crime fiction is the unexpected, and the new, and the unusual, and the unpredictable.
Yes.
Because it's crime, and I mean, loads of people who read crime books read a lot of crime books. They're going to have seen an awful lot of scenarios.
Yeah, that's true.
And while in some genres you can kind of, I mean, with romance, you kind of know how it's going to go. And sure, there's going to be some curveballs, but, you know, it's going to be person meets person. setbacks, etc. gets to the end. And yeah, I mean, in a crime thing, the crime's going to get solved.
Yeah.
But then again, who's it going to be solved by? What the variables? You can have other, crimes happening along the way, and what are the twists going to be?
You're right, because if you read a book that's really a little bit different, it's like, ooh, didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Because we're all well read. We all read lots of books, and as I say, I do try not to just focus on crime, though.
Yeah, no, I've just read one called The Cracked Mirror.
Oh,
and it's very interesting because it's like 2 books in one.
Oh, right.
So you've got Penny Coin, who is an 80-something lady who volunteers at the local library, and she lives in a lovely village. And then there's a murder, and then you have Johnny Hawk, who's in LA. And there's all sorts going down with him. He's just got a new partner because, he's managed to, another one yet again has managed to die on his watch. He goes through partners like you wouldn't believe. And there's car chases, and there's all sorts going on in the LAPD. And you're getting alternate chapters, more or less, of these 2 books. And you're like, how on earth is Christopher Brookmeyer going to bring these 2 together?
yeah.
And of course he does.
Mm.
And the twist is, I kind of saw it coming, but it's still really good when you get to it. So,
I like the sound of that.
yeah, give it a go. It's very good. The Cracked Mirror. So there you go.
I've got a 100-word story. This is an old one, which hopefully might just emphasise what I was interested in what you think. It's called The Bell.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, son, don't ring that bell. Samuel stopped dead in his tracks and looked towards where the quiet, menacing voice came from. In his hurry to reach the warning bell, he'd not seen the stranger emerge from the swirling crimson mist. "I've got to, mister," he said, none too convincingly. "It's my job. If I don't ring the bell, then the people in the village won't be ready." "Sorry, son, can't let you do that," whispered the stranger, gently pulling a fearsome-looking weapon out from inside his long black coat. The bell remained quiet.
Is that one of yours? Oh, excellent.
But there's no, I don't think there's any need for what village. What was
you
the boy
can
doing?
fill all that in. You don't need to know the period.
Don't need to know that, do
you can do all that, or why it's that kid's job, or,
or who the person is. It leaves you asking lots of questions.
Oh,
but that's not a bad thing for a reader, because the reader can ask the questions and put in their own answers.
Well, I was going to say, the only time I want more detail about places and street names and things is when it's in a city that I know. This one I've just started reading is based in Glasgow, and I've been to Glasgow quite a number of times. And of course, I'm thinking, I know where that is. Yeah, and I know where that is. Yeah. And when I watch anything on the television now, like Cops and Robbers in London, I'm like, I've walked down that street. I've been in that pub for a drink because we go to London such a lot. I'm a bit like that with Edinburgh now.
The book I'm writing is set in a place I know reasonably well. I'm already thinking I need to go visit and make sure I've got the route right and the coffee shop is right, and that shop is across the street and all those things. So,
which is the reason I decided to write The Warrington Detective, because I know Warrington very well, and I can see it in my head.
But for somebody reading the book, they don't need to know Warrington, do they? You might as the writer, but the reader doesn't need to know.
The readers love that stuff.
Oh, they do. Yes.
You never know. Maybe there'll be like a Warrington murder trail.
Yeah.
Hey, you could do that. You could do guided tours.
That. Oh, yes, I'd be good at that.
You could get a deerstalker hat.
And a pipe.
Oh.
Right, so, I mean...
So, successful crime writer, what do we think, to sum up?
I think the basics are really wanting to do it, loving the genre, being able to write. Because I've found, I think each book I've written has been a little bit better. It's been more rounded. It's been more well written.
I agree with that.
Yes, and that's just writing more and more and more, and as I say, hopefully they're getting better from that perspective.
But it's also
not to say that your first Warrington Detective wasn't really
I would
good,
hope to improve.
But also it's knowing what your audience.
The
successful
when I'm
writers.
reading one of yours, it's like, aha, ooh, didn't see that.
That's what you like.
Exactly.
but the successful crime writer, or the successful writers, full stop, know what their audience wants.
Yes, that is the crux of the whole thing.
Because if they get that wrong, then you can miss out the successful bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
And just put the writer in.
The writer.
So I think we'll draw that to a conclusion. And I think
Fair
think our opinion is that success is what each person perceives it as being. And
But who wouldn't want to write a satisfying crime novel?
it's brilliant, isn't it, writing a crime novel?
And if you just fancy having a go at writing, go and have a look at our blog. We've got a Only Murders in My Mind blog, which is at onlymurdersinmymind.wordpress.com. And every week we put up a picture prompt and invite you to write a short story, a couple of 100, 250 words. And it's becoming quite popular. So have a look at that, see if there's anything there that takes your fancy, any of the pictures, and just have a go at writing. Or, if not, have a go at some free writing. But let us know how you get on.
Yeah.
We'd love to know.
Yeah, we'd like more feedback, please. Because we know
if you've got any comments on what you think makes a successful crime writer,
let us know.
Yeah.
please comment.
We're interested.
Yeah. And if you do write a story to do with one of those prompts, and if you leave it on the blog itself in the comment section, and you want us to, we'd be quite happy to read some out on a future podcast episode.
Definitely.
Oh.
Okay, so we'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you to Mike and Liz once again. And we'll see you all next week. Bye for now. You have been listening to Only Murders in My Mind, a Random Thought production, produced by John Bissett. The music in Peril was composed and recorded by OM Studio Strings.